It was a cold, moonless night when Alex and his friends gathered outside the old school gates. The air was thick with anticipation. They weren't here for a usual night of mischief. Tonight, they had one goal: break into the school and get the exam questions before anyone else could. Alex's heart raced, but his skeptical nature kept his nerves in check. "You know, this place is cursed," Rachel, his childhood friend, murmured, her voice trembling. People say it's haunted." Alex scoffed. "Rachel, stop. You still believe in those silly rumors." But Rachel wasn't so sure anymore. She wasn't the only one who'd heard the whispers in the halls, or the strange creaking noises that echoed when they weren't supposed to. Yet she followed the group as they scaled the school's iron fence, all of them excited and anxious. Among them was a girl named Emily. She had always been part of their group, laughing and joking like any other teenager. But lately, Emily's presence seemed different, almost out of place. Alex didn't think much of it at first. It was just Emily being Emily, or so he thought. Inside, the school was dark and eerily silent. The usual clatter of the hallways had been replaced with whispers that seemed to come from nowhere. "This way," Alex whispered as they made their way toward the old exam room. But as they walked deeper into the school, the temperature dropped. Alex's breath clouded in the air, and an uneasy feeling settled in his stomach. Emily walked beside him, her eyes distant, almost as if she wasn't entirely with them. Suddenly, Rachel froze, her eyes wide with terror. "Emily," she whispered. Alex turned to her, but Emily was gone. "She was right behind me," Rachel whispered, shivering. They searched the darkened halls, calling her name, but there was no answer. Panic set in as the unsettling feeling grew stronger. It wasn't until they reached the old library, hidden deep within the school, that they found Emily again. But she wasn't the same. She was standing by the window, looking out into the night, her face pale and expressionless. "Emily," Alex called, but she didn't respond. Then, something shifted. A cold wind blew through the room, and Emily's figure began to flicker like a dying light bulb. She turned slowly, her eyes wide and empty, a dark void behind them. "You shouldn't have come here." Her voice was distant, echoing in a way that sent chills down their spines. "Emily, what are you talking about? This isn't funny," Alex said, his skepticism wavering as he felt the weight of something unnatural in the air. A low, mournful sound echoed through the library, like a long-forgotten whisper. "I died here, years ago." The words sent a jolt through the group. Emily's voice had changed, sounding almost as if it wasn't her at all. "What do you mean you died?" Alex asked, his voice trembling. Emily's form flickered again, and with it came the flash of an image, a girl lying motionless in the old schoolyard, her body twisted in unnatural angles. The girl had a name, Emily, but no one had ever known how she died or why. "I was never meant to leave," the ghostly Emily whispered, her voice chilling. "I was left behind, forgotten. But now, I can never leave. Not until someone solves my death." The room grew darker, colder. The walls seemed to close in as Emily's ghost reached out, her hand cold and insubstantial, passing right through Alex's chest. In that moment, the truth dawned on him. Emily had been dead for years. The girl they had known was nothing more than a memory. The real Emily had died that night, the night they had come here so long ago. And now, she was trapped in a loop, her death unsolved. Rachel's voice broke the silence. "How do we solve it?" How do we fix this? Emily's ghost smiled, but it wasn't a smile at all. You already have the answer. The question was never about the exams. The last thing Alex saw before everything went black were the words carved into the library walls. Who left me to die? In the cold, heavy silence of the library, as Emily's ghostly confessions still echoed, Alex felt a shattering realization claw its way into his heart. Every shadow in the dim corridors whispered memories of that forgotten day. The day when a careless prank spiraled into tragedy. In the recesses of his mind, long-suppressed flashbacks emerged, laughter echoing in sunlit hallways, a moment of recklessness that left Emily alone, vulnerable, and ultimately doomed. The weight of guilt pressed down on him with the force of 1,000 sorrows. Alex's eyes welled with tears as he recalled the final, desperate plea from Emily, a plea that, in his foolishness, they had ignored. Beside him, Rachel's face was contorted with regret. In that moment, both realized that their shared mischief had birthed an unhealed wound. The truth was undeniable. Their neglect had created the conditions for this endless, aching torment. Before they could speak another word, the atmosphere shifted. The library walls, once dormant and lifeless, began to pulsate with an eerie, sorrowful light. Faded photographs of happier times, snapshots of friendship and innocence, turned into spectral echoes that danced in the periphery of their vision. Emily's soft, trembling voice broke through the silence again. "I am not angry. I am heartbroken." Her words resonated with a bittersweet clarity, reminding them of the fragile, fleeting nature of trust and love. Alex took a trembling step forward, his voice barely a whisper. "Emily, we're so sorry." His apology was not just for that one fateful day, but for every moment of neglect and every ounce of carelessness that had culminated in this nightmare. The spectral energy around them seemed to absorb their remorse, drawing the truth from the depths of their souls. In that crushing instant, it all became clear. They were bound to this cursed place, trapped by their own guilt. As the library's spectral light intensified, a chilling wind gathered force, swirling around Alex and Rachel. Their figures wavered, caught in the grip of an unseen force that was equal parts merciless and sorrowful. Alex's heart pounded in his chest as he felt an icy hand, not of malice, but of tragic inevitability, seep into his very being. His tears glistened under the ghostly light as he met Rachel's tearful gaze. In that final shared moment of regret and love, they silently acknowledged that there was no escape from the consequences of their past. One by one, the group, the brave, skeptical souls who had once sought a thrill, began to fade. Alex's voice, heavy with sorrow, murmured one last, broken apology as his form blurred into the spectral haze. Rachel's cry, soft and mournful, mingled with the sighing wind. The force that had drawn them here had claimed them all, dragging them into the depths of the school's eternal darkness. Their bodies crumpled to the cold, hard floor as they dissolved into memories, a requiem for lost innocence and unatoned guilt. And as the final vestiges of life slipped away, the library grew silent once more. The carved words on the wall, "Who left me to die?" glowed faintly, a constant, unanswerable question echoing into the void. Emily's sorrowful smile lingered in the gloom, a haunting reminder that some tragedies never find closure, and that the past, however painful, never truly dies.